guys, welcome back to my channel. If you just happen to click on this video, my name is Lindsay Nicole and I am a full-time fashion reseller on Poshmark, eBay, and Mercari. However, today is all about Poshmark. Again, if you happen to be new, I have been personally full-time reselling for the past 8 months, which it feels like longer, but then at the same time, it feels like shorter because I love reselling in general. It just feels like I don't know what life was like before this now. Anyways, along the way, I have definitely learned some tips and tricks for my own business. And today we're gonna go over 5, well, I have 10 fingers up, but it's only 5 today. 5 misconceptions every reseller should know if you do dabble in reselling on Poshmark. Whether you're a beginner, you're part-time, or you're full-time, it is definitely essential to know some of these tips and tricks. Now, just like you guys, I absorb reseller content and reseller information all the time, so I am not claiming that I was the first one to come up with any of these things. Keep that in mind. I just figured that I would compile a list together for you guys because these are the things that help me out so much as I went through my reselling journey and as I am going through my reselling journey. Hopefully, as you're watching, you learned something new, and if you do, you know what I'm gonna say. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It always helps out my channel and the exposure of this video, and then therefore will help out other resellers that are maybe looking for tips and tricks for Poshmark. And if you happen to be brand new and you haven't even dabbled in Poshmark yet, then man, I wish I was you, because the quicker you know these things, the easier reselling will be for you because you won't have to learn as you go, kind of like how I did. If you want to sign up for Poshmark, you can use my code lindsaynicolepm. You get $10 credit off of your first Poshmark purchase. I as well get $10 credit, so thank you if you happen to be brand new and you want to sign up using my code. But anyway, we're gonna get started with misconception number 1, and I'm just gonna get the most obvious out of the way because if you're part-time or you're full-time, I'm sure you already know this one. Misconception number 1 is following and sharing people's closets on Poshmark will drive sales to your own Poshmark. Sorry to burst your bubble, guys, or tell you that there's no Santa, but yeah. Unfortunately, I definitely learned this the hard way because I used to be that girl that would be on their phone, share, follow every single person I could for the first couple of months on Poshmark, and then I'm pretty sure I found out from another reseller or maybe just reading an Instagram post that yeah, that's not the way to drive sales on Poshmark. Like I said, if you're brand new, don't even bother with that tactic. It does not matter how many followers you have on Poshmark, that will not increase your sales. What will increase your sales is sharing your own closet. When you share someone else's items from their closet, you're basically sharing it to your followers on their news feeds. But to be completely honest, it is very rare that people actually scroll through their news feeds. It's not really like an Instagram or a Facebook thing where people are keeping up with their news feeds. It's really chunky and kind of a mess. So personally, I don't go through my news feed. Again, this is just my opinion. However, from my own experience, I have noticed that does not drive sales at all. I will even say I tried to be slightly strategic about following people on Poshmark, and I would go to the find people section on Poshmark. I would type in a brand, let's say Free People or Anthropology, and a whole list of users on Poshmark would pop up for me, and I would basically just spam follow all of them. And the reason why I tried to do that is because I was trying to target audience people that really liked Free People or really liked Anthropology, because that's what I used to have a lot of in my closet. And even though I did end up doing that and it was very time consuming and repetitive, I barely made any sales based on me doing that. So it just was not worth my time. So basically, short and sweet, don't waste your time following and sharing other people's closets. If you want to do it to be nice and just as a community member, that's a whole nother story. But if you're looking to do it to drive sales, it's it's not there for you. And side note, I still will share people's items that sometimes share mine, especially if I recognize the username, whether that's a viewer or a reseller friend. I try to do that just to be, you know, a nice community member and whatnot, but I'm not doing those things because I think it's going to drive sales to my closet. I also personally know when people start following me or sharing things on my closet, it is very rare that I will click on their username to check out their closet as well, because we get so many notifications from Poshmark. It kind of just like dives deep into the notification vault, and I'm really just looking for those notifications that are likes or comments on bundles or offers, of course, our favorite notification. All right, misconception number 2 is sold comps are the end all be all. That's not true. Now I know what you're thinking. What in the world are you talking about, Lindsay? Every reseller ever says to check comps, check comps, check comps, right? That's how we know if we should pick up an item, if we should pay up for an item, or maybe we should pass on it. Yes, you are absolutely correct. However, if you did not figure this out by now, not all sold comps are correct. Sold comps are definitely a very important tool to use when deciding if you should pick up an item or you shouldn't. However, they're not always accurate, and I'm going to prove this to you by showing you an example of mine. So I ended up selling these 2 Legence tops in a bundle for $95. I'm pretty sure one of these tops I listed for around $80 and the other one I listed for like $60. However, I ended up giving the buyer a deal because they did decide to buy both within a bundle. Now, when this happens, Poshmark doesn't advertise that these items were sold at a discount when someone looks up comps for Legence tops. So I'm gonna screen share with you the comps for Legence tops, and you're going to be able to see that it says that I ended up selling each of these tops for full price, one for $68 and the other one for $85. I forgot what it was. But I know that's not correct because I know I ended up selling it for much cheaper. Definitely keep this in mind that when you're looking up comps, it's possible that some of these items that you may think sold for a higher dollar amount really ended up selling within a bundle for a discounted price. I definitely do take this into account when I'm looking up comps and I see a lot of items, let's say, sold for around the same price, and then there is an outlier where it's sold, let's say, for $40 or $50 more. That's kind of a red flag to me to think that, maybe that item ended up selling in a bundle and that's not the accurate sold price. Speaking of solds, I also really want to talk about the dates on solds. So a big misconception on Poshmark is sold prices are based on the present year that you are in. That is absolutely not correct. If you guys go on to certain sold items on Poshmark, you will see a day and you will see a month, and sometimes you'll even see a time, but you will not see a year. I'm not exactly sure why Poshmark does this. I'm not sure if they're trying to do a little bit of trickery with us, but keep that in mind in case you did not know. I'll give you another example. If you guys have been following my reselling journey for a while now, you know I bought like 20 pairs of these Free People booties. I sold them all last year, 2021, probably 2020 and 2021, but definitely not 2022. Anyway, when I look up my sold listing for these pair of booties, it does say January 12th, so one may assume that that was from this year. However, I personally know that that is not true. I sold these booties in 2021. So basically what I'm saying is when you're checking comps, definitely take note of this and be cautious. Number 4 is a little bit of a hack, so I am excited to share it. I'm sure a lot of you may already know this, but if you didn't, this will be mind-blowing to you. I did not know this for the longest time, and I am so glad I ended up figuring it out from, again, probably another reseller or maybe just experimenting on my own. But the misconception is you cannot delete or delist if it has active offers. Not true. Oh my goodness. I am so happy I am able to work around this one. It happens to me all the time where I end up selling an item, let's say on eBay or on Mercari, and obviously I need to delist it from Poshmark because I don't want it to sell twice. The way to work around this is if you change the size on the particular item that you have active offers on, the active offer will go away and you are able to delete or delist that item off of Poshmark. Again, I will pop up an example on the screen for you guys. It is super easy. All you gotta do is edit that listing, change the size to whatever size you want for a split second, and make sure you save that item on Poshmark, go back into the listing, edit it, and then just delete it from there, or you can delist it from, let's say, Vendu if you are using that as your cross-listing service. I personally do this all the time when I realize I do have active offers on listings. I will try to delist it from Vendu. Vendu will give me an error message saying that it cannot delist it because it does have active offers. So then I go onto my Poshmark app, do this hack, and I'm able to delist it from Vendu and I'll have no problems. For the longest time, I used to in the title write "not for sale" so no one would actually accept my offer on any listings that did have active offers. So knowing this little hack was definitely mind-blowing to me and such a stress reliever. Let me know if you used to do that too. Be brave in the comments. Did you ever put "not for sale" in the title because you didn't know you can delete a listing like that? Hopefully I'm not the only one. And misconception number 5, you always have to give discounted shipping when making an offer. Not true. I use this little hack all the time, but if you make a bundle for an item, you don't have to give discounted shipping to that buyer. So if you're like me and sometimes you're not feeling giving discounted shipping, you can put that listing in a bundle for a buyer that has liked your listing. And I'm going to again screen share with you exactly how to do this. You're going to put the listing in a bundle, and from there you don't have to give discounted shipping to the buyer if you don't want to. Sometimes I do this with cheaper items so I can look like I'm giving a deeper discount to an item, but really I'm just not offering a discounted shipping to the buyer. Or sometimes I will do this if I have already given a 10% or a 20% discount on likers to offers and I want to give the same buyer a different type of discount, but without giving discounted shipping. So it's like you're almost giving the buyer another offer that could be similar to one you've already done in the past. Those are the 5 misconceptions that I did want to talk about today. I am sure there's so many more. So if you have a tip, a hack, or a misconception that all resellers should know about, definitely leave your expertise down below because I know there are a lot of you that read the comments. Tips are always welcomed because it helps all of us out. Also, again, these are just my opinions. These are just my thoughts. I did not recreate the wheel, but I did want to compile a list for you guys. Hopefully this video was helpful to you and you learned something new. Other than that, I shall see you in my next one. I hope you guys are doing well. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up on your way out and I'll see you next time. Bye guys.